On April 6, 2026, 4 human beings traveled farther from Earth than any person in history, not in a film, not in a simulation. In a spacecraft called Orion, heading around the moon, the record they broke had stood for 56 years. It belonged to the crew of Apollo 13, the mission that nearly ended in disaster and never even landed. They made it 248,655 miles from home. Artemis II passed that mark and kept going. At 7,007 in the evening, Eastern Time, they reached 252,756 miles from Earth. 4 humans, further from home than any human has ever been. The mission launched on April 1st from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Commander Reid Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Christina Koch, and Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen. Victor Glover is the first black astronaut ever assigned to a lunar mission. Christina Koch is the first woman to travel this far from Earth. Jeremy Hansen is the first non-American to go. This is not just a record. It is a statement about who gets to go. The crew of Artemis II looks like humanity in a way that no lunar crew before them ever did. On day 3, Commander Wiseman described a moment none of them were prepared for. Mission Control rotated the spacecraft as the sun was setting behind Earth. What they saw stopped them all. He said you could see the entire globe, from pole to pole. Africa, Europe, the Northern Lights. All 4 of us just stopped. Nobody spoke. We just stood there looking at it. That image, 4 people 100,000 miles from Earth, looking at the whole planet through a window, is one of the most quietly powerful things I have read about any space mission. On day 6, the spacecraft entered the lunar sphere of influence. That is the point in space where the moon's gravity pulls harder than Earth's. Christina Koch radioed Mission Control. She said, "We are now falling toward the moon rather than rising away from Earth. It is an amazing milestone." And then Orion flew around the far side, and they lost all signal for 40 minutes. 40 minutes of total silence, no communication possible. The moon itself blocks the signal. Mission Control simply waited, and then Orion came back around, and the signal returned. While they were behind the moon, the crew watched Earth rise, the Earth rising above the lunar horizon. The same image that changed how humans saw themselves when Apollo 8 captured it in 1968. They also watched a total solar eclipse from space, the sun disappearing behind the moon while they floated in deep space, watching the corona glow around the edge. For nearly an hour, Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen broke the record alongside the others. He said, "We challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived. Go further, go to Mars." Then Commander Wiseman asked Mission Control to name a crater. Not for the mission, not for a program, for his wife, Carroll Wiseman, who died before she could see him go to the moon. It is a bright spot on the moon. They named it Carroll. Hansen read the dedication aloud. His voice broke. All 4 astronauts were seen holding each other, crying in the Orion capsule. The crew splashes down near San Diego on April 10th. After that, NASA begins preparing Artemis III, the mission that actually lands on the moon, for the first time since December 1972. The last time humans stood on the moon, the internet did not exist. Nobody alive under the age of 54 has ever seen a human being walk on another world. That is about to change.